Yo. So maybe you can really tell that we upgraded the production quality for this one. And it's not only just to be, just to make a better video. You may be wondering why I'm at this beautiful place, scenic, the sea, the ocean, whatever the fuck it is. It's not just for the looks. It's actually because of like a pretty symbolic reason. So 2025, last year, was very hard, very challenging year for me. It was very tough. And, you know, a lot of the times I used to come here when I was questioning if I had it in me to continue playing the game of life. So I used to come here to, well, think, go on walks and listen to music and try to find some meaning, try to find some calmness and some stillness, which I feel is very fitting for the video that I'm going to make today. So you may have seen the title of this video, which is probably going to be Forgive Them, Father, for they know not what they do. And I think it's a very beautiful philosophy to have. I think it's very beautiful, and it's a good way to live, and it will do a lot of good for society or humanity if we were better at using it, okay? Because if we refer back to the example where that comes from the New Testament and the story of Jesus' crucifixion, he is literally about to be crucified to death for not really doing any more harm than, you know, saying that he's God and that he is the God, revolting against the Roman society or the Roman ways, and essentially just helping people, hanging around with the sinners, prostitutes, hookers, murderers, all of that stuff, right? So he hung out with the scum of society, and even they could be redeemed and helped. This wasn't very appreciated. Now, obviously, the reason is more deeper than that, but the point is that to the point where he was crucified and he was literally being killed, you know, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." So can you imagine being killed for such a reason and still having the empathy and the heart and the good spirit and will to say that, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't understand what they're doing," okay? And I think that my interpretation of that, I'm a pretty spiritual person, is that I think that Jesus was trying to tell us that we are all one, okay? So we are all connected, and we are, you know, I am the Son of God, the Son, you know, and because he is, I think, and I think you are the Son of God too, okay? So we're all one, and I think that what he meant a bit too when he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," probably was the fact that, you know, when they were crucifying and killing Jesus on the, you know, on the cross, I think he was trying to say that they don't really understand what they're doing to themselves, okay? They don't understand that they're killing themselves, you know, they're hurting themselves. I think that if you give a helping hand to somebody that needs it, in times of need or just in general, you're essentially helping yourself, okay? So on this earth and where we live, we are separated, and it's quite hard to grasp the idea that we actually all would be one, but it's because we have these physical bodies and we can't remember and we can't feel the thing that is deeper on the inside. Most of us can't, you know, some of us can, some of us have learned to, some of us have had life-altering experiences, near-death experiences or psychedelic experiences that bring us closer to the truth that is, we are all one. And likewise, I think that when you hate another person, when you seek vengeance and are fearful, I think that the harm that you are, you know, putting onto that other person, whether if that's justified or not, you know, there are plenty of reasons where it could be morally very justified or understandable to hurt another or, you know, get revenge or payback. But Anyway, so when you're the one doing the harm, I think that you're essentially doing harm to yourself. And I think that people that go around hurting or harming others, they don't necessarily get away with it, right? And I think that it may look like some people do get away with it. Maybe they don't get punished for their crimes in this lifetime. Maybe they don't go to jail. Maybe they get a short sentence. Maybe they get bailed out, whatever it may be. Or maybe nobody is even onto them. But I think that in the soul and in the grander scheme, I don't think you get away with being a, ass like that. I really just do not think so. And in my life, I've really reflected upon this, that when I was younger, I wasn't necessarily a very good person. Okay, I did a lot of bad things, and I lied a lot, and I did a lot of bad stuff. I wasn't a good person. And in that time, I was getting fucked over very often myself. And you could argue that, well, you got fucked over and you started to get to fuck over others. But honestly, no, I don't think that this was the case at all. I think that my actions, how I was as a person, was being reflected like a mirror, okay? The universe is a mirror, that kind of thing, okay? And when I started to become less of an asshole, a better person, I received more love and care. And, when I help somebody or others, I find it that I'm more frequent to be in positions where others help or care for me, I'd say. So I think that, really spreading what kind of energy you want there out in the world is pretty damn important. And I think that you have to be mindful and careful about your actions and your thoughts and what you project onto the world, okay? Because once again, I think the universe really is a mirror. So careful what you project out there, So to kind of get back to the point of forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Well, you're doing no good by doing more harm, even though if it's a response to harm a lot of the times. Now, obviously, these are complex subjects. I think, for example, self-defense is absolutely valid, and I don't think that you shouldn't refrain from self-defense. If you're wondering why my eyes are darting now, it's because I'm pretty confident that I see an orb in the sky right now, which is so beautiful. It's crazy. It isn't a coincidence that I decided to drive out here so randomly, almost midnight, because once again, I used to come here a lot when I was feeling down and wasn't doing the best in life. And I saw a lot of orbs, and I had some telepathic experiences too, communication. So now the fact that I see an orb on the sky is honestly very beautiful. It's just the way life is, man. It's kind of ironic because I was just saying that the energy that you put out there in the world is being reflected, and now I see what I think is an orb in the sky. Anyways, so, practice, really try to practice, being a good person, okay? Because if we did even more of that, the world would be a very nice place to be in. Earth is hard, and it's for a reason. And I think a lot of the reasons why Earth actually is such a hard place to live on is because you come here with amnesia, because you forgot who you are and why you're here, and all of the stuff you've been through already. It's a part of the game of life, because you're here to make choices and take a stance towards how do you want your soul to develop. Are you looking to, develop your soul into the path of service to others, helping others, the Jesus way? Or are you here to go with the path of service to self, doing pretty much only what serves you the best and is the best for you, even if that means the cost of others' health and well-being and life, or whatever it may be, okay? And the beauty in that is that even though service to others is for most people a more enjoyable and pleasant route to take, there isn't anything inherently wrong with service to self either, okay? Because they're just different expressions of serving the Creator, okay? There needs to be some sort of balance or divinity, How do you know what a good life is if you've never had a bad life? How do you know what a good friend is if you never had a shit friend? That kind of stuff. So, yeah. Love your neighbor and forgive them, because there's a very good quote. I can't exactly remember it by heart, but it's like, rejecting forgiveness is like drinking poison and forgetting, or let me do that one again. I think it goes something like, rejecting forgiveness is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. And I think that really puts the nail on the head, to be honest. You know, you're angry, you're sad, you have hatred in your heart, so naturally you want to take revenge on somebody who did you wrong, but, you know, those feelings are just gonna eat you up. They don't affect the other person, you know? And once again, it doesn't you no good. It isn't the best for you. So yeah. Love your neighbor. Try to be more Christ-like. And if you see somebody that needs a helping hand, why couldn't you be the one to reach out your hand? Okay? So, that's all from me.